This is part 15 of My Husband is Married in Another State. We left off at where I made up my mind to work something out with Benedict, So I proposed to him that, hey, the house is still on the market for rent. You can go ahead and be my tenant. And he looked at me, rolled his eyes. He was like, you are unbelievable. I was like, okay. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. He was like, so you just gonna keep the rent at 2,700? I said, I can talk to a realtor to bring it down to 2,300. He was like, no, 2,000. I was like, okay. And then he's like, so you just gonna sit there and let me pay $4,000 for the deposit? You just gonna hold on to my money? You're not gonna help me? I'm like, hit the road. You can make some money like less than 1 week and book it for yourself. I said what I said. I meant what I said. So he had to hit the road, make the money. I gave him information to the realtor. He went ahead, signed the lease, made a deposit, and moved in. So now my own husband is my tenant. Okay. So not too long after that, of course, Grace went into labor, and I didn't go to the hospital. Him and his mama went to the hospital. They did everything, and they brought the baby home. So I still didn't go to see the baby. But one day I went to mother-in-law's house. I went to Benedict's mom's house to go visit her, and she's telling me, you know what, honestly, that baby don't look nothing like nobody in our family. I'm like, are you kidding me? He was married to her. She was like, girl, that don't mean nothing. I mean, he just met this woman on the road. Like, that could be somebody else's child. And honestly, if you see the child, I was like, show me his picture. And so she pulled up a picture she took of the baby, and I'm like, you're right. He don't look nothing about the baby boys I have for him. But what y'all gonna do? She was like, I think I'm gonna talk to him about it. I said, you should, but please keep me up to date. So apparently she got around and told Benedict that I think you need to go ahead and do a DNA test because that baby that might not be yours. And he's like, you sure, mama? But anyways, he didn't want, Grace to know. So him and his mama, I'm getting updates. Him and his mama planned to do it when the baby was 3 months and do it behind Grace's back. They went ahead and did it, and y'all already know 99.999% wasn't his child. So Benedict calls me telling me that, oh, I just found out that the baby that Grace has is not mine. I was like, so what do you want me to do? Huh? Why are you calling me? He was like, oh, I was wondering if you could move back in the house. So with all that drama you got, give her drama so the place can be too small for her and she can move back to probably Sam. That's probably Sam, baby. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. I'm in my place of peace right now. You as the husband, you find out that that ain't your baby. The only thing you need to do is file for divorce. And I said, does she know that it's not your baby? He was like, no, we kept it from her. I said, why are you keeping it from her? You need to tell her. He was like, can you do that for me? I'm too stressed out right now. I was like, sure. So I said, let's meet at your mama's house. I'm still not going to tell him where I'm living. I said, let's meet at your mama's house. You give me the document or whatsoever. So we met at his mama's house. He gave me the document or whatsoever to prove that it's not his child. And I went to the house. When I opened the door, Grace was like, what are you doing here? I said, excuse me? Don't act like you don't know that this home belongs to me. I'm here to give you this paperwork. She was like, what is this? I said, open it. She opened it and she read what it was. She was like, oh, so he got the nerve to do DNA behind my back? I said, because his mama saw the baby and knew that the baby wasn't his. So his mama recommended a DNA test. So at this point, what? I'm not leaving. I was like, what you mean you're not gonna leave? He's filing for divorce right now, and I'm helping him because he's still my husband, and no need for you to be hanging on to us. Us? What you mean, y'all? I said, no need to. Okay. No need for you to be hanging on to him and that baby and his. So you need to be figuring out who the heck this little baby's father is and be packing your stuff to go back to where you came from. She was like, he's the reason why I lost my house. He's the reason why I'm going through what I'm going through. Even if the child is not his, the least he can do is secure a place for me back in Florida and at least, pay my rent for 3 to 4 months, and then I will leave. But I'm not just gonna leave like that because he put me through a lot, and I didn't know that this was not his child. well, I was like, why don't you go back to Sam while we handle that? She was like, no, I'm not going back to Sam. Sam don't want me in his house. I said, that could be Sam's baby. She said, well, I don't know that yet until I get my own place, until Benedict helped me to get my own place. I'm not leaving. So I was like, okay, I'll let him know. When I told him, I said, she got a point. You should help her get a place back in Florida, file the divorce, and help her for like 3 or 4 months, let her get back on her feet. Matter of fact, you can even do it for 6 months, because guess what? You're the one who had a whole family here and went and married this woman and put her in a situation, And as far as I care, you should take care of her until the divorce is final. He was like, I can do that. I can do that. I just been having too much going on lately. I can do that. Tell her I'm gonna do that. I was like, okay. So he took one of his road trips. He went and found a place for her to live. So when he found a place for her to live, they worked everything out. Grace moved back to Florida. They finalized the divorce. And then me and Benedict, we still husband and wife. So we decided we're gonna sell that house. So we sold that house that him and Grace was in. Of course, he had to move Grace stuff all the way, all of her stuff back to Florida and stuff. So we sold that house. We bought a bigger, better house. And me and my husband, we live happily ever after. And just to end the story, the baby ended up being Sam's baby.